the things, but I think the things that I was saying
Yes,
all
sir.
all came from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, let's start with the production. Shout out to, you know, saying Amon Ra, you know what I mean, and Derek D. Angeletti, you know what I mean. They, you know, captured. Well, first of all, when I got signed, I wanted to bring Ron Lawrence. Let me get the name just so people understand. Amon Ra is Ron Lawrence. But when I wanted to put myself out there, you know what I'm saying, for the first time, people hearing me and things like that, I wanted to make sure that people knew that I was from Philly. And so one of the samples that's in the record is from Pieces of a Dream, Mount Airy Groove. You know what I'm saying? Which is the zigga zigga zin, 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 zin. You know, and that's a park jam. You know what I'm saying? Like again, people that are listening, I'm from that era. Like I'll be this year. You dig me? So I go back, man. So, you know what I mean?
Yes,
for
sir.
sure, for sure. So, you know, I just wanted that element understood. But then they bring in, you know, the Malcolm McLaren, you know what I'm saying, world famous Supreme Team. And then but the way they flipped it was so crazy. And so, you know, it's like the beat is so infectious, and the beat makes you want to like you ain't got no choice but to rock out. And so the interesting thing about, you know, me putting the lyrics together is like when I first wrote it, I mean, I was all over the place, like, because I just wanted to eat the beat alive, right? So God was like, nah. You gotta let the joint breathe, man. Let it breathe. So, you know, I went back, took some words out, you know what I'm saying, kind of into the groove. And then the rest is history. And like I told you, the lyrical aspect of it was all, you know what I'm saying, trees in the VIP section, Benson, connections. That's all Howard, man. That's the way we got down, you know what I mean, with no questions. So yeah, that was all Howard.
In my mind, I conjured up my own story around this. In my mind, it was like, yo, Universal heard that record and was like, yo, sign this dude up ASAP. Yeah. But you had your deal first and then created that record. So I know when you took them that record, they probably was like, this is a single.
Nah, check this out. So wow. So first record I did once I got signed. Mind you, okay, Many Faces is like 50%, little less than 50% of the demos that I sent to Mark Pitts. Okay. So these were records that I had did like 2-3 years prior to the album actually being released in 97. Okay. So half of that material was done in 93, 94. But
wow,
the theme itself, we were looking for a record to set the whole thing off, right? And so I did this record with Faith called It's Showtime, or Showtime, should I say. Mm-hmm. And it used the Road to the Riches. I think it's a Billy Joel sample. Ron Lawrence chopped it up crazy. Faith sang the beginning of it, sang on the beginning of it. It was hot, but okay, so here's my gripe with New York, just a little bit. So I'm an outsider, right? I'm coming from Philly. I'm an outsider. So I don't have relationships with the Clues at the time or the Funk Flexes and none of that. So when Universal is servicing the record, so he serviced the Showtime record, of course, they go, nah, that ain't it, da. So then I do another record. I sample D'Angelo's Lady, right? Mm-hmm. Murder is the joint called I Like It Like That. This was like right on the heels of Lady being hot. So I did this like at the end of the spring of 96. So we serviced the joint, you know, DJs like, nah. Capri loved it, but it still didn't get the ear of the people that were on the airwaves and the people that would, you know what I'm saying? So then here comes the theme. And so with the theme, service the record. Nah, that ain't it. Until and y'all can attest to this, I'm sure.
Master Flex.
Nope.
Wow.
Red Alert.
There you go.
Wow.
Red Alert.
Red Alert.
Red Alert breaks everything, man. And you in 96, Red Alert is king amongst the DJs. So if Red Alert says it's a go, then it's a go. And as soon as this is fire. Everybody fell in line after that. So then now you got Universal scrambling, because Universal at the time was a young company. They didn't know anything about hip hop, how to market hip hop or anything. So the model, or should I say the the plan was, or should I say, their business acumen or how they approached breaking records was make the record, service it, see if it sticks. There was no science to it.
No work in the record.
No working. I mean, not to say that not that shout out to Garnett Reed, because he was the only one up there, and rest in peace to that brother. But he was the only one up there that really knew how the streets work. And so he was out there. He's the one that gave it the red alert, and he's the one that believed in the record, along with our team, along with Dot and Mark and all of that. But Universal upstairs had no clue. They had no clue how to do it. You know what I mean? And so because Red Alert gave it the go, then the DJs fell in line, and then Universal fell in line.
I'm surprised that the joint with the Road to the Riches sample wouldn't have stuck, because that was a big New York City record. And then didn't the Alcoholics, the Licks, do something with it? That was a big record. So, but I could see how Red Alert was sort of like kind of push the button on the theme, though.
But
the jam sound to it.
But the thing was, Red Alert never, I don't know why, but Red Alert never got those other two records.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the minute he heard, the first thing he ever heard from Trey Lee was the theme. And that's when he was like, oh, this is a goal. You know what I'm saying? But again, New York, it's like, if you're not in certain circles, you're not going, like I was never part of it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's go right on the shelf in New York.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely tough.
Yeah, I mean,
that song, man, like I think not maybe about a year ago, and that song came on. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I had to check it, like people in here my age, like and I listen to other your stuff, so you're not a one-hit wonder by no means.
No, not at all.
But that song alone still rings for me, and I love it. I like hearing it when it comes on. It's almost like deja vu from the Bronx. When you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, this is where I remember where I was when I heard this.
Yeah.
So,
it was like in for DJs back then, the thing, it was the Benjamins, the thing, put your hands where my eyes can see. Like that was the set. You know what I'm saying? That was the set. And then, like you said, when if it wasn't for the Bronx, when that joint comes in, that came a little later, then you brought that into the set. But that was the set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I often wonder for artists though, like after you create an anthem, because we gonna say that's an anthem.
Yeah.
Like, is it hard to follow that up? Like, do people begin to start every record? They be like, yo, every record got to be out of here. Every record got to be an anthem. And I mention that because I think about like a group like Naughty by Nature. Right. And Naughty by Nature to me is like they like the kings of anthems, but that sort of became like their lane. They kind of got like typecast. If there's typecast for rap, there's you got the Craziest, you got OPP, you got
Hip Hop Parade.
Like everything is an anthem type record. Like, so how do you pivot from that, from being like the anthem record? I mean, you had the joint with Big, that's obvious, but like, do you feel like you had to live in the shadow of that record?
I think that the label tried to force me to live in that shadow, and that's the reason why I probably am not in the game like that anymore, because the album, and again, it goes back to Universal not knowing how to market and promote hip hop. They lacked in promoting, I'm not gonna say they lacked in promoting real MCs, but I'm gonna just say hip hop, right? They were more concentrated on pop culture. They want return on investment. You know what I'm saying? So, but Many Faces was far from, that first record. So they didn't know how to follow up with the second single. It was there in their face with Stars in the East, in my opinion, because it was right in the middle of the summer. It was still a groove, and they had the what's the sample? The Jones Girls, Nights Over Egypt. It had the Nights Over Egypt sample. You know what I'm saying? So it was right in pocket. It was a summer groove party record, but it was still raw. And I think they were looking for that pop appeal type joint. So for me, I never wanted to try to duplicate the theme, and I think that was a part of the problem. I wanted the flexibility to create and do what I felt was hot. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be, the theme or Stars in the East or Keep Your Hands High or blah, blah, blah. But those are all three different, totally different records. You know what I'm saying? So there was never a formula thing for me. And I think that was, from an industry perspective, that was a part of our rubber meets the road problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm thinking about what you're saying in terms of Universal and lyricists. And I remember Universal, they signed Cannabis.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, getting Cannabis was scorching hot, killing everybody's record. And I remember getting his album, putting it on, and was like, yo, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Totally different than what you thought.
What is this? But then the flip side of it, they had the Lost Boys. And the Lost Boys to me was sort of like the anthem, like what I just said, like kind of like the anthem type thing, like very much formulaic type records that they really got behind. And I like Mr. Cheeks, but I wouldn't say that Mr. Cheeks is like a lyricist. Like, I think that he's a great entertainer and a good MC. So yeah, I kind of see like the approach for working, I guess, like artists that make primarily like radio friendly records versus artists that's lyricists.
Like think about who came after the wave of Mead Cannabis, A+, shout out to the Reaps who are my peoples. Like all of us got signed at the same time. And then that's when they were trying to figure it out. But then they figured it out once Nelly and Cash Money and all of them came in. Because going back to your point, there's the formula. They have formulaic records that they can, and also they, those particular artists and groups, should I say, or they came in with a structure already. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like getting directly signed to a label or getting signed through somebody. They had stuff popping in their areas already. And so it was kind of like, we're just going to put the money behind it and leave them alone and let them do what they do. But from a business and radio perspective, we'll take those radio records and push them through our system. You know what I'm saying? Because now they're giving us something that we feel like we can put the money behind. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's interesting about that though, really quick, is that record labels back in the days were more machine oriented with A&Rs and development of talent and stuff like that. So why they wouldn't make that, why would you have a division devoted to rap, but you wouldn't make that investment to ensure that division would be successful? That's like, it's because now it's an era where if you sign to, in my opinion, if you sign to a record label, you just sign it because you want to sign to a record label, kind of thing or whatever. But back then there was really that machine that was behind everything, supposedly helping to develop and break an artist.
Well, I mean, there was, and you got to get into that this is pre-streaming, right? This is physical copies. These are, your sales are predicated on something else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in order for the people to get behind a certain artist, you had to be pushed in a certain way. And I always say, the first level of getting signed back when I got signed is, to me, I mean, and it's opinionated, but I think you had to have a certain skill level first. Then the record making came in after the fact. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, you brought these records in, because that's, to me, is what the criteria is today. It's about the record and not the skill level. You know what I mean? And because of that, that's when, these things diminish. You don't need an A&R to judge the record, so to speak. You need the A&R to see if there's a potential, and the A&R kind of molds and shape and blah, blah, blah. Whereas now people are at home making these records and getting these followers and fans that aren't really, with regards to the ear and understanding what the record, they just going on popularity. They're going on, again, the following that they may have on social media, and they kind of follow that wave because, to the business person now, it all results in the sales. And not, it has nothing to do with the art and the culture and the criteria of what a record is supposed to sound like. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I think we need A&Rs back.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no, absolutely.
You need a lot of development.
qualified A&Rs now.
Okay.
It's a difference.
Yeah.
You got to be qualified.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Because anybody can take that position in that office and call themselves an A&R and not qualified to do it. Because that's what happened to me. That's what happened at the tail end of the industry. You started getting these people in there that saying they were A&Rs, but weren't qualified to be A&Rs because they didn't understand a damn thing about the music. They were placed in that position just to be a puppet or overseer. They didn't know nothing about the music.
Some dude from Wisconsin was evaluating what's the next
Exactly.